Hey guys, it's Rebecca Elijah pt.2 family, so you can call me Becky. Welcome back to my channel, and I hope you guys are having a good week, okay? So last week we talked about the healing process, what you do before you enter into the healing process. And now I want to give you guys a cluster of questions that you should ask yourself while you are in the process of healing. Sometimes when you're starting the healing process, you don't know where to start. You don't even know what to ask yourself. So I thought it would be a good idea to give you guys some questions that you guys can do. So I hope you guys have your notebooks ready and right in front of you so we can just dive into these questions. Before then, I just want to let you guys know that some of these questions, they will require a lot of thought. So it's not something that you can just answer on the spot. So I want you to take this next week, the next week and a half, and really sit through these questions and be intentional while you're addressing these questions. Be honest with yourself, okay? Dig deep and go to the root of your soul and be real with what you say. Because the only way you can see results is if you truly address the problem. Don't try to sugarcoat things, okay? Don't sugarcoat it. Be real with yourself, be raw, be 100%, and get right into it, okay? So the first question that you need to ask yourself is, where does healing need to take place in my life? Is it with a family member? Is it with a friend? Is it within your marriage? Is it within your workspace, within yourself, boyfriend, girlfriend? Is it physical healing? Is it a mental healing that needs to take place? Are you trying to reconstruct the way you view yourself? You need to have a starting point of where your healing needs to take place. And oftentimes, while you're starting at one place, you'll find that you kind of divert into other places that healing needs to take place. But having a starting point is always important. It's imperative, okay? So that's the first question I want you to ask yourself. Where does healing need to take place in my life? The next question I want you to ask yourself, what was the cause for my need to heal? What's the background story? Why do I need to heal? What is leading me to this place of healing? Okay, it's very important. I know we're addressing, it kind of ties in with the first question, because the first question you're asking where healing needs to take place, but now you're really going back into that place of where it needs to take place, and you're asking yourself, what caused this brokenness here? And why do I have to heal in this place? Next question, I'm going to clump it as one question, but I want you to divide this into 3 different sections and answer, how has this affected me emotionally, physically, mentally? Okay, let's make it 4, and spiritually. So I want you to write down how it has affected you emotionally, how this place of brokenness or how this healing that needs to take place, whatever is causing you to run to healing or come to get healing, how has it affected you in these areas of your life, okay? By knowing how this specific situation affected you physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it helps you to actually figure out what needs to be done so that you can start a process for healing, okay? An example for physically, are you in bed all day? Do you find yourself feeling tired and weary? Is it hard for you to get out? Are you able to go out the way you were going out before? Are you able to have a conversation with your friends? How has it affected you emotionally? Are you feeling sad constantly? Are you constantly feeling like you have anger in your chest? Mentally and emotionally, I think they always clump together. But are you having trouble focusing on things that you need to focus on because of this situation? Is there a panic? Do you have anxiety that has formed around certain situations as a result of this place that you need healing from? Spiritually, how are you doing spiritually? Do you feel like you are not necessarily tending to that area of your life? Do you feel closer to God? Do you feel a disconnect? Are you pressing in, or do you feel like you're pulling back? Or do you feel like you're angry at God or angry at being a Christian? What is it? How are you feeling spiritually? I know some of these questions sound like basic, or they sound like, I don't know if I'm supposed to answer this, but you can never heal unless you get to the root problem of it, okay? So asking these questions will allow you to see where you are. Next question, how has this affected you relationally? Do you find it more difficult for you to make close connections with people because of this specific incident in life? Have you cut off contact from family members, from friends, because of this specific incident that you need healing from? How do you think it has affected you relationally? The next question I want you to ask, how has this affected the way I view myself? Do I view myself any differently? Or do I look at myself the same? Do I feel like I'm stronger? Do I feel like I'm weak? How do I view myself in this moment? This next question is kind of intertwined with how has it affected you relationally. How has this affected the way I view people? And how has it affected the way I communicate with people? Okay, so that's the end for the first cluster of questions. We have 3 clusters. And I know these questions, you're like, Becky, why are you doing this to me? Why are you forcing me to answer these questions? And I know some of these questions might make you seem like you're a Debbie Downer, but it's so necessary and so important for you to actually answer these to the best of your ability and to answer them honestly so that you know where healing truly needs to take place, and you know the emotions and all the technicalities behind certain instances. You know, sometimes in order for us to heal properly, we have to go back and assess where that pain was, because I've said it before, and I think I got it from my sister. Pain has a location, okay? So sometimes you have to go back to the location of pain in order for you to see that what you were making a giant is actually an ant. But it takes you going there. It takes you asking yourself these hard questions that you've been avoiding to courageously step into your healing. Okay? So this is what these lists of questions are meant for in the first cluster. And to be honest, some of these questions, like I said, they're not necessarily easy to answer. So I want you guys to make sure that you give yourself grace. Be kind to yourself while you're answering these questions, and remember that who you were then, how it made you feel then, it may not be who you are now, okay? Sometimes we dwell on things that have happened so much in the past that we forget to see where we are in the moment. And vice versa. Sometimes we see who we are in the moment now, that it's hard for us to see how this instance actually affected who we are now, how we view friendships now, how we view ourselves, how we communicate with people. Why do we like to be homebodies? Why do we like to stay in? Is it just for comfort, or is it because we have a fear of not going out into the world so that we don't get hurt by people? You know, these questions are meant for you to assess so that we could see how to transform and really be intentional with healing and activating this next level in our life that we just entered into. Okay? So now let's dive into the next cluster of questions. And I hope you guys are writing these down. In case you're not able to write all of them down, I might just I'll write it all out and put it in my description box underneath this video, right under there. It's there. You can pause it and check, but I prefer you watch this first. Okay, let's continue. Who was I before I felt this sense of brokenness? What did I like to do? How did people describe me? How did I describe myself? I want you to answer that. Who was I before this sense of brokenness? And when you're answering these questions, some of my answers were like paragraphs. And I was like, I was this, that, the third thing. And I realized while I was answering these questions, I'm like, dang, what really stopped me from being this person, you know? So I was able to see who I was, who I am now, who I'm not, and what part of me that I still wanted to be or still wanted to keep. I still want to keep my joyful, bubbly self, you know? Where did that go? How can I bring that back? Who was I before I felt this sense of brokenness? Next question that's directly after that is, who am I now? Who am I now? So the first question was, who was I then? And who am I now is the second question I want you to answer. After that, I want you to ask yourself, have I lost any aspects of the person that I was before? And if so, what? And after you ask yourself that, the next question will be, do I believe that there are certain aspects of my life that are better off gone with that past version of myself? If so, what and why? When you're asking yourself this question, I want you to, first of all, you can do it both ways, but for this specific assignment, I want you to tie it back to an experience. We're tying it back to a place of where we need healing from, or an event that caused us to need healing. Who you were then and who you are now. What aspects that you've lost along the way from when you were that person do you believe are better off gone? Do you have any? Do you not have any? Are there aspects that you miss? This is an elaborate question, but I want you to go ahead and answer it to the best of your ability. Also, if you have questions, please feel free to come back to this video and comment down below, and I will be sure to answer your question, okay? I'm trying to, we together, we sticking together, okay? We're healing. The next question that I want you to ask yourself, and to be honest, I think I should have asked this in the beginning. Are you willing to do the work and to take the steps that are necessary in order for you to heal? And I want you to really answer this truthfully. Are you ready to do the steps that are required of you in order for you to heal so that you can be where you want to be and where you know that you should be? If your answer isn't yes, I simply just want you to click out of this and wait until you are ready. Because no one can motivate you through this process. I know it doesn't sound nice, doesn't sound sweet, but no one can motivate you through this. You can have people to encourage you through this, but the healing process, there will be days where you're up and down. There'll be days where you feel horrible. There'll be days where you feel great. But what is driving you to keep going? I want you, if your answer is yes, I want you to write down the things that motivate you and why you want to get involved in this healing process. So that's your next question. Why do you want to heal? And before you come for my next thing,
what kind of stupid question is that?
If you don't know why you want to heal for yourself, it's going to be difficult for you to actually receive that healing. Why do you want to heal? Why do you want to heal? Because that is what will motivate you. That's what will help you to take the necessary steps to heal. It's good to have a team, a support team, but in the midst of that support, you can support and encourage someone so much, but unless they want it for themselves, they're not going to receive that thing. So it's the same thing with healing. Why do you want to heal? Why do you want to heal? The next question I want you to ask yourself is, how do you feel right now? How are you feeling currently while you're writing down these answers, while you're listening to this, while you're starting the healing process? How do you feel right now? And then your follow-up question will be, how do you want to feel? How do you want to feel after this? How do you want to feel at the end when you reach the finish line of your healing process? How do you want to feel? And I think this is going to be so great to have because you have something to look back on. You have something to compare of how you were feeling in the beginning of the process and how you were feeling afterwards. You know, when you made it, when you got to a place where you're like, I feel great. Because having evidence there's something so rewarding about going back and tracking your history of how you used to be and how you are now. And it's also encouraging because then you're able to recall, oh, I felt like this then, but I feel like this now. And you're able to motivate people and be like, you know what? I can relate to what you're experiencing. This is where I was. This is how I was feeling. I was at a low time in my life, this, that, the third, but look at where I am now. No matter what the situation is. So it's a question I want you to answer, but for yourself. But be honest with yourself. You don't have to show this to anyone. This is just between you and your pencil and your notebook and God. Next question I want you to ask yourself, who do I want to be at the end of this process? Insert your name there. How do I, Rebecca Elijah, want to look at the end of this process? How do you want to look at the end of this process? Write it all down, your hopes, your aspirations, your dreams, how you want to feel. Like I said before in the question before, who do you want to be at the end of this process? Do you want to be a stronger person? Do you want to be a self-motivated person? Do you want to be a person that is not easily broken by other people's words? Do you want to be a person who trusts themselves? Do you want to be a person who builds strong relationships with other people? Do you want to be a person at the very end that helps other people to build themselves? Who do you want to be at the end of this? It could just be as simple as, I want to be a happy person. I want to be a joyful person living in an apartment in New York City, doing this, that, the third. Who do you want to be? The next question I want you to ask yourself is, what do you want to be in life? What is your aspiration? What is your calling? Do you want to be an entertainer? Do you want to be a teacher? Do you want to be a counselor? Do you want to be a pastor? Do you want to be an engineer? Do you want to be an athlete? And a follow-up question after that. Do you think there's anything about what you have gone through in life that will push you further into who you want to be? So when you're asking yourself that question, I want you to look at everything that you've been through concerning the situation that you're trying to get healed from. What about that situation could make you stronger for tomorrow and make you more suitable to be qualified for what you want to be in life? I hope that makes sense. So I want you to ask yourself and use a positive twist on it. What about this negative situation has made me more suitable for what I want in the future? An example of that, so say I wanted to be an entertainer. Let's just say singer. In my whole life, I've always been bullied, always been made fun of, always been looked down upon. No one ever gave me the benefit of the doubt. Now I can use all of that, and I could use that to relate to an audience who feels the exact same way as I do. An audience that's felt downcasted, an audience that's always felt like the underdog, an audience that always felt like no one would take them seriously. But I can incorporate my experience into my music. And when I heal, and as I'm healing, I can put a positive spin on them to show them, you know what? People might count you out, but just because they count you out doesn't mean you're out. If I incorporate that into my music, you know how many people will feel like not only will they relate to that, but they will feel like they have a voice, that someone else is expressing what they feel like they could not put into words. So that's an example. How has the negative experience that I need healing from, or that I'm healing from right now, how has it made me more qualified to be what I want to be in life? So that was the end of the second cluster of questions. My phone's falling. So with that second cluster, it's more so for you to reevaluate yourself. and reevaluate who you are, who you want to be, and to put a positive twist on, not to say, because there's some instances I know it's very painful, but I strongly believe that everything in life that we have gone through, good or bad, can prepare us for something even better in life. You know, it's just a matter of perspective, and it's a matter of how we heal, how we choose to view events, and who we have on our corner, who we have in our corner to help us so that we can view those things correctly, okay? So I want you to ask yourself these questions. And if there's a question that you can't answer for yourself, or you feel like you're stuck on, use that as an opportunity to get help and to find someone who can help you dive deep into answering that question for yourself. Be it church, your pastor, be it counseling, be it a close, trusted friend. You know, I just want you guys to really think and to really be intentional about certain situations and certain scenarios in your life, and about how you view yourself, you know, because I did it myself, because like I said, before I give you guys a challenge, I always do it first. So as I was doing it, there were some things that I was scratching my neck like, okay, I need to change the way I view this. This is not, this is not it. But ultimately, asking myself that question led me to finding an answer that I knew I could be proud of. You know what I'm saying? It's not to say that you should be discouraged by the answers that you have in front of you. The answer that you have is the answer that you have, because that's how you feel. But what can we do to change this? Which ties into the third and last cluster of questions that you're going to ask yourself. The first question in the third cluster: what steps have I taken currently to help myself heal? So these aren't steps that you want to take. These are steps that you've already taken, or steps that you're taking currently to help yourself to heal. So even watching this YouTube video, even answering these questions, that's a step. Admitting that you need help to heal, that's a step. Admitting to yourself that you want to heal, that is an important step. So I want you to acknowledge and write down all the steps that you've currently taken to begin healing. And you'll notice that it might feel small to you, but when you write them down, you'll notice that you're making progress. It could have been a change of music. It could be not answering that phone call. It could be blocking Big Head. It could be doing whatever it is that you got to do, okay? So I want you to write it all down and see what you've done so far. And the next thing that I want you to do, by looking at all these questions that you've answered in the first and second cluster, I want you to ask yourself, what steps do I still need to take to heal? So what steps do I need to take to heal? Okay? Do you need to actually reach out and get help? Counseling. Do you need a prayer partner? Do you need to change your music? Do you need to start exercising? Do you need to get out of bed? Do you need to let go of the fear so that you can begin to trust people? What steps are you taking? Do you need to start reading affirmations? What steps do you need to take in order to heal that you haven't taken already? I had quite a bit of stuff, and also Google helped me because I was like, I don't know what other steps I need to take. So I started asking questions. I asked Google what I could do to heal, and they had like over 50, there's a lot of articles, really helpful stuff that you can actually find on Google or YouTube University is what I like to call it. I asked my parents, I asked my friends. I literally I went on Instagram and said, healing, what do you guys do to help yourself heal? And it was really interesting to see what people said in terms of their little things that they do to make themselves feel better, to make themselves come out even stronger. So you have a whole community and you have resources that you can use to find different ways to heal if you feel like you can't do it by yourself. That's just letting you into what I did. And tying into that question, I want you to ask yourself, who and what is helping me with the healing process? Do you have a support system? Do you have your family? Do you have your friends? Do you have YouTube? Or if you're by yourself, is there a certain book that you're reading? Are you getting counseling? Who and what is helping you to heal? Because it's hard to do it by yourself. It's hard to do it by yourself. So find some type of support to help you through the process. And I want you guys to be careful. Let's make this another question, a part 2 per se, of that last question. Is this help that I'm saying that I'm receiving, is it actually help or is it a distraction? Because there are some things that we set in place to distract ourselves so that we don't have to deal with healing. And we call it healing because it feels comfortable there. So if you are using 10 hours of Netflix, I've done it. If you're using 10 hours of Netflix to say, oh, it's helping me to heal, you know that's not helping you to heal. Sometimes, and if you do that, sometimes it could be that you're trying to escape into another person's life and watch it's fun to watch other people go through their problems and to figure out how to solve it, because I can just be like, girl, why didn't you just do this? You know that man ain't for you. What you doing? But it's harder when it's your own life. So you need to make sure that you're being intentional. As uncomfortable as it is, I know, but you cannot use 10 hours of Netflix to distract you, okay? That's not helping. And if you have friends that are kind of just getting information, like they're just there to kind of gossip, but they're not actually giving you any substance, anything of value to help you to heal, then that's not what you want. That's just a distraction. Find things, valuable people that are helping you to heal, okay? And make sure it is not a distraction. And I know I say this, I've been saying this almost in every video because it's so essential to healing. It's essential. It is essential to healing. Who do you need to forgive? That's your next question. Who do you need to forgive? And a follow-up question after that will be, is it worth holding on to that thing or that person or that event? Why haven't you forgiven them yet? And what can I do to actually forgive them? I want to plug you in. If you're having trouble and you're struggling with forgiveness, go watch my Let's Talk About the F Word video. That video is all about forgiveness, and it will help to break down steps that you can take in order to actually forgive a certain person or to let go and surrender certain events in your life that has taken place so that you can actually heal properly. Next question I want you to ask yourself is, what am I doing to encourage my spirit? How am I encouraging my spirit? It's very important for you guys to, oh my God, if there's anything that is important, it's finding ways to encourage your spirit. What are you listening to encourage your spirit? Who are you listening to encourage your spirit? What music are you listening to encourage your spirit? And the next question that I want you to ask yourself is, how am I edifying my soul? So your soul is the makeup of who you are, your personality. It is your character. It's what you like to do. What are you doing to edify your soul? Are you trying new foods? That if you love eating, I love eating. Are you trying new foods? Are you listening to new music? Are you going out, going to the park and just sitting down to take in the sunlight and to watch people and just to be present in the moment? How are you edifying your soul? Are you calling up an old friend that you lost contact with, but you loved hearing from them? You've always laughed and had a good time when they were around. How are you edifying your soul? And then how are you loving on your body? So this focuses on body, soul, and spirit. How are you loving on your body? Are you taking long showers I know it's not good for the water bill, but it is good for your body, okay? Are you stretching? Are you eating healthy? Are you going to the gym? Are you putting on that cologne you like? Are you wearing that perfume you like? Are you wearing the new dress? What you waiting for? Wear the dress. Okay? How are you loving on your body? Sometimes, no, all the time, it really does help. It's a proven fact. It's funny, when you get ready, even when you feel unprepared, even when you feel like mentally and emotionally you're not there's something about just taking care of your body. There's something about getting ready. There's something about dressing up that makes you feel better. Okay? So how are you loving on yourself? How are you showing up for yourself? These are key questions. And if you don't have an answer for that, I want you, for any of these, if you guys don't have an answer for it, I want you to write down things that you can do to do that. Okay? Next question. What are 5 things that you love about yourself? I want you to find 5 things that you love about yourself. I don't care if it takes you 1 week, if it takes you 2 weeks to answer this question. I want you to actually complete it. Write down 5 things that you love about yourself and answer why you love that about yourself. Go in on yourself. Love on yourself. Big up yourself. And the last question, what are 5 false beliefs or ideals that I need to dispel about life or myself in general? I found when I asked men, because I was already going in and my spirit and my soul just took over, and I was just writing and writing and writing. And one thing that I had to dispel, a belief that I had to dispel that was completely false, is that I won't get to the place that I want to get to. That this is how my life was going to be for the rest of my life. And that in itself is a false notion, because no one remains at the same place. No one remains at the same place. So you may be feeling like this today, but you won't feel like this for the rest of your life, because you are constantly moving. You're constantly evolving. Life is constantly happening for you. There's no way that you can remain at the exact same place every day, especially if you don't want to remain at the exact same place. So that in itself was a false belief. It was a false ideal. So I want you to go and write down 5 false beliefs that you need to dispel. So those are the questions that I want you to ask for this week, okay? I'm going to make this the challenge of the week, but I might make this the challenge for the next 2 weeks, just because there are so many questions that need to be answered. So I'll give you guys 2 weeks to complete this. And if you feel like you need more time, that's perfectly fine. Continue on. Answer these questions. And if you have any questions about the questions that you're asking yourself, I want you to come back and comment. If you feel comfortable, let me know what this questionnaire helped you to discover about yourself. It doesn't have to be super personal, because I don't want to get all up in your business. But I just want to know how it's going for you and if it's helped you in any way. Okay? So I love you guys so much. So this will be the challenge for the next 2 weeks, and we'll leave it at that. I think I might do a part 3, but for now, this is what we're doing. I might have a section where I just do like question and answer, but for healing purposes. So we'll see about that. Yeah. Well, I love you guys, and I hope you guys are having a great week. And yeah, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and to hit me up if you have any questions, okay? I love you, and I pray that you are able to answer these questions honestly to the best of your ability. And I pray that God helps you to find solutions that you were looking for in order for you to actually heal properly. I pray that God just shows up in the midst of this, okay? Happy healing. And have a great day.